One was a triple murderess who thankfully had a heart of gold. One was an immature thumbsucker who carried a teddy bear, and the other was a drug trafficking prostitute and killer who, although locked in a dank, dark prison, was constantly taken advantage of by men.
That tortured group of misfits changed television in this country for the better. And 30 years on, it's our pleasure to welcome back former Cell Block H residents Val Lehman, Colette Mann and Amanda Muggleton. Good morning to you all.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
It was an amazing series, wasn't it? I mean, the popularity endures to today, and we'll talk about that in a second. But it was an amazing series for female actors.
It did an enormous amount for actresses in this country, yes.
But prior to that, there weren't that many lead roles, were
and there aren't now.
And there aren't now.
Yes,
they went right
so they
back.
should revive it.
They should, yes.
I could still be a thumbsucker and carry a teddy bear. I'm sure I could.
I want to be the lesbian prison officer instead of the screw instead of a prisoner.
Oh, you want to be the screw?
Is this the right moment to reveal your psychological...
The governor would appeal.
Oh yes, but we'd have to have that hairdo.
Did you actually get to a point where you coveted each other's roles like that? Because, and I say it with a touch of irony, because each of your roles was so full in itself, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Although I have to be honest, when I started in the show, there was 14 in the original company, and there were 6 leads, of which Val was one, and Peter Tapano and Kerry Armstrong, and then there were 8 of us that were supports, and Sheila and I were part of the supports.
Were you?
Yes, we were at the beginning.
Never noticed.
And well, we were big personalities, but because when it went to air, the audiences really decide who they're going to like and who they're not going to like, and they loved Doreen and Lizzie, which was wonderful for us because we were bumped up onto the A-list then.
There were some fairly what's the word I want? Fanciful storylines. Some fairly.
Oh, you reckon?
You'd be amazed. It's probably that some of the more fanciful ones were actually based on reality.
Were they?
Yes, very often.
But how do you, as an actor, coming to work each day, approach some of these storylines?
And hang on to your credibility as an actress. Is this what you were asking?
Well, no, how do you, when it leaps off the page and you go, "Whoa, come on," how do
you find a way. That's what you do. That's exactly what I used to do. I can't do this. No, there's got to be a way.
You do find a way, and that's what's wonderful about... I mean, I was 27 when I was doing the show, and I had not done very much television. I'd, done, Third Corpse to the Left in Division 4 and, a couple of... and, Backward Farm Girl in Homicide. But, and I'm still...
I had a baby in the backseat of a VW.
Yes, and so... But I hadn't actually ever done that sort of work before. And to be able to do what you're trained to do for sometimes 15 hours a day and actually make stuff work that sometimes was a bit fanciful, that was the greatest training that I ever had as an actor.
I think one of the most surprising things, and we'll bring you in here too, Amanda, is really, Amanda, you were the only one who actually looked glamorous somewhat glamorous in prison garb.
They only gave me red lipstick and short skirts, if you call, and yellow shoes. By the way, can I just say, David and Kim, I'm thrilled to be part of your throbbing this morning.
Oh, wonderful.
It's a pleasure to have you amongst us.
And also, I was taken advantage of not only by men, but by women in that prison too.
Well, and for the time, that was, or was it? That was raunchy.
Oh, yes.
Oh, and totally groundbreaking,
It was outrageous.
And
it was outrageous.
You would barely be able to get away with that kind of story content now on television.
Yeah, I think it's loosened up a lot now.
Not sex, but...
Have you watched The L Word?
Oh, well,
yeah,
yes.
that's all about lesbians, isn't it?
There is that. Let's talk about some favourite storylines, because, Val, I might start with you. I understand that the amnesia was a favourite...
That was my idea, yeah.
And it was your idea?
Yeah, but we actually had one meeting in all the years that I was working there. We had one group meeting with cast and scriptwriters and storyliners. And a whole... I don't think you'd gone by that stage, which is probably why we needed to have the meeting. Because if we
a huge gap.
That's right. That's exactly what I was getting at. And out of that particular meeting came an enormous number of storylines, but they never ever did it again. And that was the only sort of contact in a really sitting down with the storyliners and scriptwriters that we ever had. It was one afternoon.
No, the question, I suppose, is did anyone actually ever get hurt?
Oh, lots of times.
Because there was some nastiness going on.
I got hurt. Yes, I got hurt.
Yes, I broke a nose.
I got Val Lehman's elbow on my nose, fractured it. In fact, I've never had it sort of addressed.
She put her nose on my elbow. Let's tell it to us. That's what she did.
Well, look, we had no stunt coordinators, nothing in the beginning, did we, Val?
We had
Colette?
one at the very, very beginning who just threw up his hands in horror because he absolutely had no idea how women fought. And prior to that, there really wasn't anything. There wasn't any reason for a stunt person to know how a woman fought previously on television.
And
so we ended up doing it. We choreographed.
It's kind of a nice segue actually into this next little clip.
Oh, but it's the nights that are going to get to you the worst. Lying there all alone, too scared to open your eyes, wondering where you're going to cop it from.
All you saw of me was hair. She was an hairy woman, a very hairy woman.
To answer one of your earlier questions about coveting other roles, no, I never ever did. I mean, why would I? My character was totally invincible and never wrong. Why would I want to be anybody else?
And I don't know why they cast Val as that character.
Well, I was going to ask you, Colette, that you are the immature, childlike thumbsucker who, despite having a relationship with a cellmate, was not a lesbian. Why you?
Why am I a lesbian?
No.
I didn't think that we were going to discuss that today, David. I thought we would talk about that outside.
Do you sometimes wonder when you get cast in this role, do you think, what have they seen in me that has inspired them to cast me in this particular role?
Absolutely, because I suppose you don't see me like that, but it just shows what a truly fine actress I am. Because it was funny, because at the very beginning of the show, when I was playing that character, I was still teaching youth theatre at the MTC, and they saw this side of me, stand over there, do that, do this, and suddenly they saw me on Prisoner going, what are we going to do, B? Oh, I'm so scared. And my students would look at me and go, how did you get that? You must have, what did you do? Did you pay them to get that role? But, I mean, I had my tougher moments as Doreen. I was a lesbian for weeks. And then I changed and I had, got married, and then I was a lesbian again, and I was an orphan, and then I wasn't an orphan. Oh, it was fantastic, and I hung myself.
And they often forgot the original reason why you were in the prison, didn't they?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes, that changed,
You get so far away from the origins of your character.
And the writers would change. So often you would be told that you were in prison for murdering somebody, and I go, no, well, could you give me his name, because I don't remember who it is. and you'd have to say, no, I'm here for forging cheques. I've just been here for 12 years because I forged a cheque.
Yeah, because I'm really silly and can't get out.
Exactly.
In terms of, I mean, the fantastic, wonderful, all of them character roles, but as an actress, I'm thinking there's a degree of ego involved here, and was it difficult to kind of throw yourself into a role knowing that you had to look as hideous as you possibly could?
Some of us are pretty, some of us
Amanda's
can act,
really
and
upset.
I would go for the
Well,
acting.
except for Amanda, because you always look glamorous.
What do you mean? I didn't always look glamorous. There was no makeup but red lips and a short skirt and yellow shoes.
Well, that was more than the others had.
Exactly. And I want to say that it used to take hours for them to make me look that plain.
Why do you think the enduring popularity, which we alluded to before, around the world? It was shown, I think, to 13 million viewers in the States.
39 million.
39
Please
million. Sorry.
get those sums right.
That's right, 39 million. Why, and throughout the UK and parts of Europe, why does it remain so popular?
Well, I think because it discussed such pertinent women's issues that do not ever change. As you said earlier, incest, rape, murder, domestic violence, lesbianism, they're all still there.
And that's just Val's life.
And then they're all still there. They don't change. They don't go away. And I don't think there's another show that discussed it as in such a down-to-earth manner. We didn't have to pussyfoot around because we were women in prison, after all.
Yeah, exactly.
You all chose at one point, am I right in saying this, you all chose at one
the
point...
freak cops it here. I always liked it when she copped it.
You all chose at one point to leave the series. Was it... did it create a gate, a hindrance to further roles?
Yes and no. It gained an open gate created an open gate to further roles. but not so much on screen for me. I found that in television that we are less sophisticated for casting than we are on stage. And this also transpired to England when I worked for 7 years on stage, but they weren't interested in using me on screen.
How bizarre.
And for you?
It was a wonderful.
Oh, sorry.
It was a wonderful springboard for me. From
yes,
Prisoner,
you
I
landed
jumped
very well.
into steaming, and then from steaming I went into the Melbourne Theatre Company, the Sydney Theatre Company, and I did other things. But I think it was because I kept going in and out. I didn't stay in there for 9 or 11 years or whatever, however long it was. I kept going in and doing about 6 months and then going out and doing a play and then coming back. So, and I will never regret my time in Prisoner. I'm very proud of my work in Prisoner. I worked with some of the best actresses in this country. 2 of them are sitting there
Thanks,
with you now in Melbourne. Well, no, really, we were all the women that got into Prisoner were top actors.
Yeah, you
we
could
were
see that
all
in those clips there.
theatre trained.
Yeah.
And you
it was great.
Because we were all theatre trained. That's the first thing that I noticed when I picked up the cast list. I couldn't
I'm putting
believe
up my
it.
hand now because I've been asked twice to answer a question.
Have you?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
I think it really helped my career enormously. I don't think, well, I wouldn't be sitting here today if it wasn't for Prisoner, and I'm very proud of it too. But I came out of Prisoner and then did about 3 years on the Don Lane show as myself, which I actually think was a great thing to do because I was lucky enough to kind of drop the Doreen tag and people started to know who I was.
Yeah, we were chatting about this a little earlier in the green room downstairs and you were saying that to actually have to talk about yourself...
Which now is my favourite subject.
I was going to say, which is trouble.
now.
Look, before we go, we've got to go, but before we go, Sunday.
Oh, huge,
Sunday,
huge fun.
huge celebration, the 30th anniversary of the first episode going to air, and there's about 25 cast members coming to a gourmet barbecue, and 216 punters, fans from overseas, Sweden, America, Ireland.
What good fun.
To
All at
celebrate.
Nunawading.
All at
Yes, where the elephants go to die.
That's right.
Look, it's lovely to have you all with us this morning, and congratulations on, well, being here 30 years later
Oh, thank you. We're
being
still
able to
alive.
enjoy
Can I
the
just say? Can I
reunion.
just say something? Can I just say that I'm coming to Melbourne to do The Man from Muggleton by Dorothy Hewitt for the Melbourne Theatre Company. I'm
Some of
working
us
now
have
for the
got jobs too,
Belvoir.
you know,
I'm
Amanda.
working for the Belvoir Street Company, and I'm thrilled because it's also the 30th anniversary of The Man from Muggleton, MTC and Belvoir Street. Bye, over and out.
Yeah.
Anything to flog?
Yes, I want to thank Channel 10 for the contribution they're making to the anniversary function.
Yeah.
Terrific.
Well,
They've been
we're chucking
fantastic.
in money, Channel
No,
Chicken.
no. Sound systems, plasma screens, all kinds of marvellous things.
And I'd like to thank you, David, for throbbing through this interview.
Stick around, there's more throbbing to come. Thank you for your time this morning.
Yeah, shut your legs. Coming up, the big issue. What is it and where does the money go? And after the break, some seriously classy spag in the kitchen.
Inside the sun.